Hot off the heels of the Ice Rider Calyrex League Battle Deck and the Shadow Rider Calyrex League Battle Deck, the Pokemon Company have revealed the next League Battle Deck, and I'm kind of surprised they actually went with this. You're probably not surprised because you saw the thumbnail and you've seen it in the thumbnail, but I still wanted to talk about it anyway because there's some interesting details in what they've chosen and what you can do to get ready for the release of this next deck. I'm Jet from inthirdperson.com. Make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and let's talk about the next League Battle Deck, which is Mew VMAX. And this is a really interesting choice. At the end of 2021, with the launch of Fusion Strike, Mew VMAX burst onto the scene with Genesect and just dominated for months on end, where this was the deck to beat. Now, with the advent of Arceus V-Star and Palkia V-Star, its power level is down a little bit, but it's still one of the strongest decks in the game. It finished in the top 8 at Worlds this year. It was the only deck that wasn't an Arceus-based deck or a Palkia-based deck. And even with the Drapion V that has the crazy counter to knock out Mew VMAX, depending on how popular that becomes, I think Mew is still going to be one of the strongest archetypes going forward, and being able to get it in a League Battle Deck format is absolutely amazing. Let's talk about what we're actually getting though. So this is a level 3 deck in the same way that Ice Rider and Shadow Rider were, where you're getting 6 ultra rare cards, but the configuration's a little different. In the Shadow Rider and Ice Rider decks, you were getting 3 Vs and 3 VMAXs. Here you're getting 2 different Pokemon with 2 Mew V, 2 Mew VMAX, and 2 Genesect. And unlike those other decks, you kind of can't play Mew without Genesect. So they kind of split, 2/3 for Mew, 1/3 for Genesect, and this is still going to be a really good starting point if you want to play Mew VMAX, but it's not going to be complete in the same way that the Ice Rider deck and the Shadow Rider deck were. You're going to need to grab a couple more cards to make this work, such as, I think the big ones, you're going to need 2 more Genesects for sure. You're going to want 1 to 2 more Mew Vs, and you might be okay with 2 Mew VMAX. I'd probably be a little more comfortable getting 1 more Mew VMAX in there personally. That being said, it's not like the Shadow Rider or the Ice Rider decks where you just kind of tweak the stadiums and the energy counts a little bit. This one's going to take a little more work trying to get those ultra rare cards to finish off this deck. I'm gonna guess it'll play okay, especially if you're a new player grinding on the ladder. This configuration is gonna be okay, if a little inconsistent, but this is still a great start if you don't have any of these cards at all. So let's talk about what we do get besides the 2 Mew Vs, the 2 Mew VMAXs, and the Genesect. You're going to be getting a deck box, 2 condition markers, 6 damage counter dice, and a die. Strategy sheet. This is actually one of my favorite things about these League Battle decks, when they give you the guide on how to play the deck and what cards to put in there to upgrade. And a code card for Pokemon Trading Card Game Live. So I'm guessing because they're not talking about PTCGO here, that they're at least hopeful that PTCG Live will be launched in full and PTCGO will be gone by the time this releases, which I should have said up front. This is coming out November 11th for $29.99 US dollars. So mark that in your calendar, start saving your pennies now. And let's talk about this deck list as well, because we are a little short on the Mew VMAXs, Mew Vs, and Genesects. We do want to up Mew VMAX probably by 1, Mew V by 2, Genesect by 2. And, these recommendations I'm spitballing here. Of course, there's a billion different Mew VMAX lists. On my channel, I've covered Mew VMAX like 3 or 4 times, and it's different lists each time. But so you can tweak it how you like. So I'm just going to make some general recommendations on cards to keep, cards to take out, and kind of review what we have here. 3 Meloettas. That's good. I'd probably take out at least 1. The Deoxys is a very weird choice. I don't think Deoxys is a particularly good card, and as soon as you can upgrade your deck, I would take those out immediately. 1 Oricorio, that's pretty standard issue. 4 Battle VIP Pass, excellent. 4 copies of Boss's Orders is probably a bit excessive for the Mew deck, but sure, you can never have enough copies of Boss's Orders. 3 Choice Belts, probably 1 too many. You do get the Cramomatics and the Alessa Sparkles. These are staples of the Mew VMAX deck. We do also get 2 Escape Ropes, 2 Switches. I clumped those together because those are movement options. Those are fine. You might want to tweak the counts a little bit there. Old Cemetery is an interesting choice in terms of stadiums. I think Rose Tower is probably the one people use the most, but I believe Rose Tower is rotating soon. So they've gone with 2 Old Cemeteries here. You're definitely going to want to tweak the stadium count here a little bit. Probably go at least 3 stadiums to have some sort of answer to Path to the Peak. You might even want to throw Pumpkaboo in here as well as an answer to Path to the Peak. We've got the 4 Power Tablets, which is standard issue in a Mew deck. 4 Ultra Balls, also standard, also an excellent card. And maybe the most curious choices here, we've got 4 copies of Fog Crystal, which is a little excessive. And then in terms of energy splits, and yeah, the 4 Fog Crystal to grab the 4 basic Psychic Energy, which is, it's a lot. It's admittedly a lot. You do get 4 Fusion Strike Energy, absolutely essential. 3 double turbo energies, that's a good count there. The 4 Fog Crystal and the 4 Psychic Energy, I'd probably take those out, but they might also be partially because you have to account for Deoxys in there as well. But I would probably take those out when upgrading to a complete version of this Mew VMAX deck. So is this the new best League battle deck? When it is upgraded in full, I think it is probably better. Yeah, it's definitely better. Definitely better than Shadow Rider, probably better than Ice Rider, but in its current configuration, as you get it out of the box, it's not, I don't think it's as good as no, I don't think it's as good as Ice Rider. It's probably still better than Shadow Rider, and it definitely has a higher ceiling than Shadow Rider. But I think the overall like power level is a little lower than I'd like it to be for a Mew VMAX deck, because it's a couple of cards short on the stuff you'd really want in terms of, yeah, the Genesects, the Mews, and then there's a couple of cards here that are kind of filler from the Psychic Energies, the Deoxys, and you know, I would tweak some other stuff here and there as well. But overall, should you get the Mew VMAX League Battle deck if you don't already have the Mew cards? I think this is going to be a pretty solid investment. I think that if you're willing to put in the extra work to grab the missing cards from the Mew VMAX deck, it's going to be one of the best decks you can possibly have in the game. It's just not going to be the absolute monster that it is in competitive play right out of the box, because you're short a few too many cards. Nevertheless, this is still a day one pickup for me, and I can't wait to get this in November. So what say you? Do you plan on picking up this Mew VMAX deck? Are you going to pass on this one? Let me know in the comments. I would love to hear your thoughts on this upcoming deck, and hear if you're gonna grab this one or not. And before I go, let me just go plug a couple of things here real quick. I stream on Twitch every week at In Third Person, and we play Pokemon every Sunday at 9 a.m. Eastern Time. If you haven't followed me on the YouTubes, TikToks, Twitters, Instagram, you can find me at In Third Person there. And last but not least, check out my website, inthirdperson.com, for more articles and videos on video games, board games, and other nerdy pursuits. One last thing that I'm dropping in here in post, so the music's going to be a little different. I apologize for that, but I did want to state that I do plan on making a video covering the League Battle deck, the Mew VMAX League Battle deck, in its form out of the box. So I'm going to put the deck together. I have all the cards on PTCGO, and I'll do a deck profile video. We'll talk about the deck list as is, and I'll showcase the deck in a couple of matches, all the good, all the bad, and so you can get a better idea of what you're getting out of the box. All right, back to you, Past Jet. Let's get out of here. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.